משנכנס מרבין בשמחה.
הנכם עוברים למצב המתנה עד לתחילת השיעור. כאשר הנכם מוכנים להתחיל בשיעור, הקישו על 5.
יש עובר משהו? איפה אעזור, ובבא. אנחנו, שלום עליכם. Don't hear anything. What does that mean? Doesn't hear anything. Do you hear me? Sorry. Is here. Albert, yeah?
Spinka Rebbe.
שלום עליכם, קודם כל שלמה, יהודה, שמוליק. Long time no see, but still, the name still pops up. Shiur, Mrbiנו. What? Today's topic I was thinking about. Speak about משנכנס מרבין בשמחה. How do you do that? It's a nice quote. There's always simcha, which is called chitzonis. I can do all kinds of things to get myself dancing, but it doesn't mean that it's the simcha pnimis, what we were talking about last week, being and not being. You can be at a simcha, your place is all over. But in simcha we have to get to something. Why do we need a simcha for? It's for that way. We know what the price is, we know what it brings us, and we'll decide. Rebusha has a whole mama about Rabbis, Machshuvis, Belev Ish, V'atzas Hashem Hisukim. We're all human beings, we all have frustrations, we all have things standing in our ways. And the question is always, is it the thoughts that's ruining us? Is it the emotions? Or it's the masim, the things that I'm doing is getting me messed up. So usually where we meet up our mess up usually is an emotions issue. That's where we meet ourselves lost. When emotion goes out of control, it's turbulence, or it's overwhelming, or it's trauma, whatever, God forbid. That gets us off track. And then it's very hard to be responsible for what I'm doing. So we're speaking the last few weeks. There is no way out of this. When you come into emotional turbulence, use the mirror. What is the mirror? The mirror is 2 steps to it. Number 1 is the mirror itself. Lowers down your ego, lowers down the fire, lowers down the amygdala, we call it, lowers down the fight. And then automatically your thoughts start working right. So the Buddha calls us from the mirror, we go out of it, we go out of our ani, to tmכו. And once we're tmכו, we're talking about the bunch. So we're tehilo. Stam der Chag, we heard a good word. It says, "Ve'eshev leiv always al bunim." Rashi says on the spot, what is al bunim? Says Rashi, al yedei habunim. So when we're talking about leiv always for me, that means we're talking about the leiv always change through the problems that they have through their bunim. That actually is what the Buddha talks a lot about. Every problem that you're there, I can take my emotion and blame the whole world, force myself, and I ain't gonna get anywhere. I'm just gonna make things worse. But Hashem Lev always means the Lev has to be redirected. That means the Lev is the place of the emotions. Anything that happens outside and gets my emotions disturbed. Now, it's right that we only needed the emotional turbulence, but there's something that is moving those emotions, which is called machshuvas. It's not machshuvas, it's a rabbi's machshuvas. Machshuvas are there, millions of directions and millions of ways how to solve problems and millions of ways how to explain why this happened, who did it, why did it. You can give panusa to all the psychotherapists and therapists and doctors. Just busy, and it's all true. But at the end of the day, you're suffering. So we have to know, the Busha says, the biggest rusha is our machshuvas. Why? Very simple, because he is the broadest from all of them. The maasim, the practical that we do, is always mugbal, is always bounded. How much I can do? Like around daytime, half a day, I have to eat, I have to sleep, I have to. The emotions also, a guy gets lost, I just go out, you just can't take it anymore. But the machshuvas, he can be busy day and night. How do people usually take care of these machshuvas? Before coming to the bush, before going to doctors, whoever has bipolar, as they call it these days, they should go to a doctor. But we're talking about regular people, also have bipolar, but bipolar has, you say, not a capital B. It's a smaller than bipolar. Bipolar means, we should call it hefkerus and yish. Depression, we say in English. Depressed, huh?
No,
Yehush is giving up.
Giving up, but I also said atzvus. And as I was thinking this way, what does depression mean? Depressed means I have to press down, I have to put, ausmerken, I have to depress one of the things. Either my thoughts, I shut them off, or my feelings, I shut them off. A person shuts off his feeling, actually that is a sort of depression, a sort of yush, a sort of atzvus. When a person depresses his thoughts, he doesn't want to think about anything. He doesn't want to be logic, that is hefkerus actually. He doesn't make any cheshbon about anything and
lets his horses run.
That's his horses run. But he must do something, and people usually that's the way they work.
There is no way out.
There's no way out. Okay.
It's
either this or that, yeah.
So what do we do?
Okay. So we're talking about not doing, we're talking about being, yes? Say that. Speak English?
A little bit.
Try my best to do it easy. So what do we do with that? What do we do with these machshuvas? But as long as we don't know where the problem is, we're not gonna how to solve the problems. That means the main problem is that the maasim that we're doing can be bounded. Like a doctor once told me, take a sleeping pill and just go to sleep. You're not going to do anything. You take drugs, you do bad things, but sleeping pill, that's the best way out of this. You shouldn't do anything. How do you stop the emotions? There's also, you go out for a swim, go out for what we call go out to the field, go out to a place that you can avarm a board, whatever it is, what gets people chilled, we call these days. So you get it. But the machshuvas is something, you go to sleep, but the machshuvas is not something that you're able to control. But yeah.
Sometimes that thoughts work in our sleep as well.
It works sometimes sleep too. It does work, not sometimes. It works even without any screening. By day we still have shtickle screening. By night we don't have screening either. That's the reason why you go to sleep. You have to say Krishna before. That's what a yid has to do. It's called Ayin Roya, Lev Choymid, Klei Maase Goymer. Ayin Roya, every part of a person has a certain screening till it gets to the mind. The only one that goes straight to the mind is the eyes, without any screening. So we have to know how do we get there. Because a person is born, that we've spoken about a few times already, Aya per yulad. A person is born, Aya per is a wild donkey. Wild, yeah? Wild, as you are. A wild donkey, that's Aya per yulad. That means emotions are wild, but we have to know that as long as the thoughts doesn't get into the way, is not abused, let's call it that way, then I can control my emotions too. But once I abused my thoughts, I've seen things, heard things, makes no difference, but my emotions, we call it machshuvah zuris, but the Chassidim used to call that machshuvah zuris, is eigene machshuvah, it's all machshuvahs. So that is where we have to pull. Rabbis machshuvas belevish. There's only one thing that can neutralize all those machshuvas, not from the bottom, not from the top. There are two ways. That's what the Prior says, two ways. From the top, we're supposed to speak about the top. Top means where the moyach, from the moyach, we'll call that. Every moyach comes from a certain place, which is called Ein Sof, which that is the first stop, and B'Yisrael, which is called Chochma. And when it comes Chochma, it becomes Bino. That's when it starts getting messed up. And when it's Bino, then comes the Das. So once you have that whole tribulation in there already, with all your thoughts, that's where a person has to do his main work, his bonus, his afnama, they call it these days. It's his bodhis, whatever it is. He has to see that actually the whole balbala, they call it these days, there's something giving life to that. There's a live wire that it's giving this without taking out the stecker, we'll call it. It'll keep on going. But I cannot take out the stecker because it's there 24/7, as we said, and even after 120, the chelik neshama is still working. It's even working. The Baba Tanya says by tzaddikim it's even working stronger after 120 than it was working before. So how do I do it? Comes the Baal Shem Tov. So if you're giving out, Shem Tov says a person is in ahava. You cannot go over to you. Ahava dominates. I want to do something. We call it tava. And then comes in the pachad. I shouldn't do it. But we can only one of them can work. So the Yetzirah gives you the pachad, no one should catch you. He gives you pachad, do it right, don't get messed up. He helps you. But he shouldn't disturb, you should go on with your tava, as we call it. The Yetzirah comes and whispers into you, no, that's not what the Baruch wants for you. He's giving you tava, you should know what means ahava, Harchim say the difference between ahava and tavo is tavo you're loving yourself, and ahava you're loving somebody else. So as long as you're not going to put the direction of the ahava outside, that means to the Rבינו we'll call it, or to friends, in a positive way, then you're going to get lost. That's what the Tov says. And the pachad is not pachad to getting caught. The pachad is to lose that. His dam is that opportunity to get a certain connection now. That since I'm hot and since I'm all into it now, I could do that connection. I cannot do that connection, but that connection is there from a place which is called a house. That means I have to redirect it, we call it. Redirect it from the same place that it comes, it should go back there. Not that I'm busy with a havel, because if I start being busy with the havel, I get, by the time there's a whole mind and Claudia says that the man gives him eight altogether, he's going to get messed up together. But Busha was talking about actually redirecting it to where it comes from. So when a person has the amina that there is nothing in the world that is without Rבינו Shalom. I was using up 3 psikim last week of Kapitel Ein Gimel, Pusik Chof Aleph, Chof Beis, Chof Gimel. It starts off, Ani bar v'lo eido. Behemes yisi imach. I was just to explain, Ani bar v'lo eido. Actually, I'm lost. The biggest first when a person is lost, when he gets triggered, is also a lo noida, whenever he's an unknown. Or, as we have right now, we have a fight. Eitz Tov tells me the Tav is a havo, and the pachad, you don't lose the opportunity. Eitz tells me, no, go for it, just watch out, you shouldn't get into trouble. And you're all messed up, you don't know what to do. Ani bar v'lo eido. Then, we have to come to a conclusion, Behemes yisi imach. What is Behemes yisi imach? A cow, when he gets called by the by the balbuz, by the shepherd, so he does what the shepherd is. Why? Because he has no plans and he has no, he can't gender and dreams and whatever. He has all this is not there. So whenever he understands this is the balbuz, and whatever the balbuz, which direction takes him, he goes. But for that, you have to decide that behind us, that means I'm not more than an animal. That means behind to share Hashem. When you want to get a brucha from a bush, if you said Udam behind to share Hashem, that was the maximum that you were able to get. Because when you're behimu, so why are you not behimu? So it must be there's part of you which is called chelik elekai, which Rבינו Shalom is making out behimu. It's very simple. You see a lemon, sweet, a lemonade, there must be somebody made it, because the lemon cannot become sweet. So that means every time that a person wants the lemon is ovena, this should come sweet, the only way we can do it is somebody make it. The only one that can make it for us is the one that make the lemons. He can make it also sweet. That means meaning
the default is we are all lemons.
Default as we are.
The default is we are sour lemons.
That default is rak etzel levodam rak al hayomi. Default is lila Hashem ezusri kamat shachnuti manavshi. We shall hold 5 psikim, but the default is also gam shom yotchus hanchayim. It's you, just like the cow has somebody that's moving him. It's you that brings me this shmumu, because that is the only way I can understand what a hava means. There's no other way I can understand what a hava means. A hava, Hashem doesn't talk to me. And so Kodesh Baruch Hu gives you a taste, we call tami, But take the time and don't use it to mess yourself up. When I decide it's behind and I know who's giving it to me, so I give myself over, then I can be with you.
Giving what the Rebbe said in the beginning, the default is also we are be'emes. The default is we are be'emes.
That's
it's only because we are messed up that we don't give ourselves to be a be'ema and we are sure we are something special.
So by the time it comes to me, that time be'ema I see. But what the Rosh is trying to differentiate is the problem doesn't start from my emotions that I'll be acting as a behemoth. It starts before that, my thoughts that go out of control, which as I said before, they are Ein Sof. It's infinite. Oh, Shalom Aleichem. It's speak English. Yeah, it's only for English speaking people. Yeah. We're not going to play. It's by the exam. I'm not doing any tests. Dat men denkt te drinken voor de gala. Ja, zo.
It's infinite.
It's infinite. That means the gabe the mass, as I said before, the gabe the masim is mugbal. It's finite. The emotions are finite, but the most infinite is the infinite of Kodesh Baruch Hu. But if we look from bottom to top, so the most infinite is the machshuvas, and we have to get that machshuvas into finite. It shouldn't be infinite. The only one, says the Baal Shem Tov, that can make them finite is when I give it back, when I see from where it comes from. That means just like a person needs help, he comes to the doctor. As long as he doesn't say what he needs, then I'm nervous. So take Valerian, whatever it's called. What? נכון, אבל קדוש ברוך הוא מסעבר לתפילוסם של צדיקים. What does צדיקים mean? צדיק. ועמך כלם צדיקים. מה, אתם לא שרים את זה? Whatever, I only speak to tzaddikim. People that don't... What is tzaddikim? Tzaddikim is that you're leaving a certain communication. You're leaving a certain communication to the Baal Shem. There is no communication to the Baal Shem. So it's not tzaddikim. It's only achita machshuva. Shnaim shetzuli peschaim. Two people that made Korban Pesach. They both sit down to eat the Korban Pesach. One takes a stop before that and says the Shem Matzis Mitzvah, the Shem Korban Pesach. That's called tzaddikim yelchimam. The other one that doesn't stop, he just comes in the barbecue into his nostrils and he's into it without stopping. That's called polishim yakoshlim. That means it's a small redirecting your thoughts, as we said before. That's what I'm saying. The whole thing is, the difference is in cognitive abilities. It's all in the way. What do you think in those minutes?
Yeah,
that means
it's not the same actions.
What? Actions is the same action.
It's
the same action.
In Korban Pesach, it's the same action, but not in all the stuff.
Okay, that's right. But I have to build you the way the stages is built. As long as that's why I started before. As long as we don't know where the problems are, we started saying the problems are not in the emotions, the problem is not in your doings. The problem starts from your thoughts. That means a thought is something Ein Sof. This is the greatest A'azor that a person could be. He can decide something, and then he decides the other way, and decides this way. And he did already something, he's busy, why didn't he do it that way? And if you check yourself, you're busy just beating yourself up all the time, just because of your thoughts. And that gets the emotions doing, and that pushes your trigger, and then you're just... because it's actually...
We need
no, but I said that the Abshuf saw someone knocking. Shamni began to stop knocking on the door because nobody home. What do you want to say?
We need to download a filter for the machshavos.
The filters we spoke about. Filters are the eyes, the mouth,
for the
the ears.
also for the machshavos.
Right. That's one of the hardest things. You don't know. You play around with the ego, and you know everything. They play around with your try, but to get the. I once said, okay, I'll go out and you think so. They're going to get everything out of it. If you know it, they're going to get out of it. Those things that you can get out of this. That means, there's one thing, there was a famous water what was that in America, in Oliver North, it's the water. Water, what do you call it?
He was defense minister or something.
Yeah, but then there was this...
the war. He was in the war.
No, they tried to... they want to break into...
Investigation.
I don't know what the noise was, but anyways... What? No. They broke into the Republican or to the Nixon, yeah, I don't know what it was.
Yes,
Watergate or some other. I mean, one of these. So they asked this Oliver North question. Whenever you saw he's getting into trouble, so he answered, "I don't recall." It's kind of 16.
Easy way out.
That's called lemoid l'shem. Every time that you feel you're going into emotional turbulence, because I don't recall. That means your screening has to be there. Screening is not going places, not supposed to go, not let yourself in. But this is only when I have my recognition where my danger is. Yes. But a person says, I can think what I want and I can read it. מי השטס, ולי זה לא, כתוב היום, לשון הרע לא מדבר עליי את ההפסד לשון הרע. That means if I don't know that I'm a human being, just like everybody, and I say all these 12 steps of therapies, what people are going through, the biggest danger is when they're clean. That means clean doesn't mean you're clean, but you might be clean with oil.
Because you're afraid of the first sip.
But if you live all the time that your failure that you're falling through is there potentially, even though it's not there lemaisa, then you can connect. Then you're fighting the first stage, not to get into emotions, not to get into masa.
Living the whole life with this, you must live in a slow-mo.
So there's two parts of it. As the first part, what the Pri always calls it, Yisir Bitke de Misa. It's very hard. It hurts my ego. It hurts my whole system. That's something I'm used to, and just get off my back, go for somebody else. And every time I have to do it, I regret why I kept myself back. But I couldn't stand before the pachad or whatever, something that was a sibis, as Busha called it. But the more a person goes into this, it actually becomes a habit that actually he knows where his problem is and where he has to connect. He's connecting the machshuva to the mekora machshuvas. Then it's not from because last time a meniyas revach, it's a hefsid. Meniyas revach means, okay, we'll skip this time and next time we'll take care of it. So every time you can profit what you're looking for, and I'm going to take it away from you, it hurts you very much. But once a person sees that every time he can redirect his machshuvas from where they come from, and that gives him ani kivas elikim litov, that gives him atobadveikim Hashem elikeichem Chaim. So every time that I'm messing up, I'm losing already. So the question is, I'm just not going to profit. I'm gaining, or I'm losing. That means the start, the first start of the Baal Shem Tov, when a person goes into this, it's just like dying. It's a lichyos, yumis es atzman. And this is a terrible thing. And after all my ego and what happened here was going from, whatever it is, you all the walls that you built around yourself, everything falls down, and you're standing there naked and saying, God, what are you talking about, etc. We all know what it's we're talking about. But once a person goes into this, actually it's something as tamiri kitoy Hashem. So we start, as in English they call it developing a taste. First time you take wine, it's very, very bitter. Or you drink whiskey, the first time it's very bitter. Once you develop a taste and you see it on the table, you just can't keep yourself back. That means once that tava comes in, as long as I'm going to tell you it's a harvest Hashem, it's very bitter for me. But once a person did this procedure of Hachnua, Avdullah, Tukka, we spoke in the beginning, that we give it back to the Baruch Shalom, then it's something that I developed a taste. Once you develop a taste, then Rebbe used to explain the pachad of the tzaddik is now that he shouldn't lose the connection. Right now, we're busy. Maybe the Baruch should think about somebody else, and it's a time that we can go under the radar and be back, and nobody, like we're doing with everybody. But so we think the Baruch was also in that same position. But once a person sees Tamei Ketov Hashem, he sees it not only in Rochnis, he suddenly sees the house becomes quiet, the children become quiet, the whole surrounding becomes quiet, things change. Because when I'm positive, I'm giving, Rebbe says, my whole surrounding becomes positive. All positive opportunities come towards me. But when I am negative, my whole surrounding is negative, and only negative opportunities come to me, and positive opportunities, you used to say you have to put perfume in your nose in order to get near to me. That means it's true. The beginning will always be a misa, we'll call it, but later on, it's just the opposite way around. Ani kiris harakim li tov, tov li ki inaisi, the man el matchikecho. You help me go through this inaisi. Now this inaisi, we have the strength in there. We're just lazy, Rebbe should call it. Lazy is not only lazy in physically, atzlus hamachshuva. We're lazy to start using our koiches that we have. It's last time we were talking about exercise. The more you exercise the muscle, the more you build up muscle. Same thing, the more a person exercises his mind. B'chol, which Vashem says, b'chol duchecha du'ai. You must have spoken about this in the Sefer too. B'chol duchecha du'ai. L'chol masech l'shem shemayim. The whole Baal Shem Tov is actually, du'ai can mean awareness. Du'ai also means to connect, vayeda, to connect back the source of your machshuvas, to who gave the machshuvas. There is the Makor HaSimcha. That's the Rosh was always busy. Whom do we learn Simcha from? So he says, Simcha you learn from a small child, a baby, Gomel Alei Imay. The Melech says, Legova Libe, Leremi'ene, Lerlach Kedosh, if it was for many. He was Gomel Alei. Gomel means just like the small baby that feels himself as he's helpless, but he's being taken care of. So he's being taken care of, that we learn Simcha. That means the more, as I listen, Ani Bar V'lo Eidol, the more I live on behemoths. So the question starts, what am I doing here now? Who brought me here now? How am I suddenly, I have things that are doing. So then it must be Yisi Imach. Then I decide, that's the next pusik, Vani Tumet Imach. Might as well, why every time start from scratch, let's do something that I should be there all the way. So Busha says, Mach oyu negdi summit, Ketus negdi summit, Meir Shvis Hashem negdi summit. But I don't have to wait till get that kitzel to get to that Rebbeinu back. I can every time that as actually because Rebbe gives us also times from tefillah, from davening, the time for Shabbos. It's all these days called connecting to myself. But then the connecting to myself is I'm taking the machshuvas, I'm staying with the machshuva, I'm not getting rid of it, but I'm directing it in a positive way, which I started saying before, a hava cannot be yir, and yir cannot be a hava, but once I give it back to the Rebbe Shalom, Morabi Masech Hashem Kulam B'chochmusi, so there it's all one, it's not only a hava and only yir. There he can do the balancing, izun, that it comes down in the right place, that I can, the right way, in the right time, etc. What it is. That means, so we start off Ani Bavele Edu. We have to come to conclusion behind the seas. Then Ani Tomet Imchu. Ani Tomet Imchu. If you're the one that's running the show, then I have no regrets. I'm not busy what will be the future. Why? Uchastu biyad yemini. If you're the one that's holding on to me, you, there's no good and bad. By you, it's only good. Yemini, that means the right hand, right? That means chesed. So then, that's all the Bush's words in, look it up in 155, Chavisa. And the Bush says that chas to biyad yemini. Then what happens is, from now on, every time I get some Eitzah, I know it comes from you. So it comes from you. That, what?
That's a powerful word.
I don't understand. That's
very powerful. It's not.
I have to turn everything over. Then he says, so I keep myself back and just don't mess it up.
Watch the show. Watch the show.
Watch the show.
למה לא רואה את עצמי מחזיק בזה?
לא שומע.
למה לא רואה את עצמי מחזיק בזה יותר מ5 דקות?
אולי 5 דקות.
כמה זמן אני מדבר כבר?
It's like basically what the Rebbe says. The second step and the third step is like it's easier in certain ways because you're practicing. But the first step is the hardest. If the Rebbe could just give.
Which first step you're talking about?
The first step of
okay.
Getting the separation and understanding where your mind is and where the real connect. The Rebbe said like connecting it back to Hashem, just to get a little more
so we'll go
practical.
So we'll go to the next. We'll go to the next step. Where does machshuvas come from?
Okay.
Machshuvas come from where your thoughts come from will, from roots. The first symptom that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made is say ba'olo b'tzoyna yapushit. That means we have to decide our goal. What do I want? That means if there's a will, there's a way, you know how it works? Yeah, that means all the machshuvas, people think that what they think that they will want. But Chassidus teaches us it works the other way around. What you want, that's what you're going to think. Okay?
It's the apple on the tree.
Again?
It's the apple on the tree.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about okay. But again, in Chassidus you can find sometimes the roots running the machshuv, running the roots. But here, what happens is to disconnect the machshuv, I have to the roots and also give it back, but I cannot disconnect it. I cannot because the rotzonos are there. But I have a prescription for you. You have a certain tava, we'll call it, but you can't get there. We spoke about the rutzi and the mutzi. You have the rotzonos and you have the metzias, just as blocking you. So either you go into chaos, as we started saying in the beginning, or you go into a depression, huge, atzvus, right? Of course, you want to cut out that not to be in that fight. But we have one play we can get our tzonus even stronger. Well, not stronger that messes up. Stronger to get us in the right direction. When I believe that the mutzi is from the Ein Sof, Gam shom yotcho sanchayni. There is no place in this world that Kadosh Baruch is not in there. For me to slow down my retzoinus is for the Ribbono and for his roots, which is Ein Sof. He did much more work to make from infinite finite that I have to do for my infinite retzoinus to the finite that I'm able to do. But once I connect to that masim that I want to do, or the emotions, whatever it is, or even my retzoinus, I get a connection from my retzoinus to the retzoinus from the Kadosh Baruch Hu, dafka from where I cannot do, then I even get even stronger. Why? Because I'm then in a place of potential, which my potentials are suddenly getting stronger. Ois the heads will be coming, because then I'm connected to the Ribbono in such a way. I said, just like an electric company, any electricity I want, I can get. But the question is, do I need it? So when I'll need it, I'll get it. I'll go into the electric company. I'll have to just build my the system, everything, build over, change the voltage, change the whole thing, and I'll get it. What? Oh, you're here. Schalter. Shanai. But in English.
Transformer.
Transformer. I have to change my transformer, and I get it. So if I got here retzoinus and machshuvas, but my midas are not the right transformer. The whole this is called tikkun midas. That I did not change my transformer more. It's going to burn my transformer. It's going to burn my whole yeshus. So, but what I can do, I can connect to the electric company, and I'm connected to, and I have no worry about mukim, zman, and anushim, because there I'm connected the minute I need it, but there's no reason why I need it now. So then I give it over to the one that's giving me the electric, and the minute I need electricity, he's here.
I came to the minute I needed electricity, I didn't get it.
Again. So if you didn't get it because the electric company sees he's going to burn your whole shana. He's going to burn your whole.
I understand.
So when he gives it to you, is because you're built up. So then he can give it to you.
I get
so
it. Now I want to.
Once again, but when you gomel ala ima, the mother, the first week can give him 50 grams,
right.
And then 60 grams, and then 70 grams. But and the child has enough, but the child can. But the mother knows it's like that means, but it's happy. That's why I get the happiness. Why? Because I know I'm being taken care of all together. One. So when I take my retzoinus and connected, that is the roots of the Ribbono, so I'm connected to them all together.
Retzoinus refers as well to taivus, right?
That's what we said again. It comes to retzoinus, comes to the machshuvas, and machshuvas goes to emotions. It's the taivus.
I'm just asking, does retzoinus mean also as well as taivus? Like taivus is also a
the question, yeah.
Okay, so let's say I have now taivus for water. Let's say the taivus is water. I want the water now, immediately. The Rebbe says, okay, you're not built for it. If you would have now the water, you would drown. Let's say. But I really want it. So, now what? What does the Rebbe say?
Okay, but who's the one that bounded you don't have the water? It's your mother sitting out there and knows that she gave you water 5 minutes ago, or whatever it is, and she can't give it to you now.
Yeah, but I got water 2 months ago.
I don't know.
Let's say I didn't have 5 minutes ago. I had it like 2 months ago. I really wanted it.
Okay. But we're talking about Tumet, yeah? We're talking about Shvis Hashem Negdi Sumet. I need Tumet. There is no, he wasn't, he's there.
That's why I'm asking. If you don't feel
if you don't feel it, starts out with believing. It starts out with believing. The time in the beginning, it's frightening. Because it's frightening because I'm used to that I'm the one that has everything and I'm the one that's doing everything. That's frightening. That's just a bit kedemisa. But once a person goes into the procedure and he sees just Kama Yesirim, he puts his needs 2 matbeis and he finds the 2 matbeis, He doesn't find it too much beis because that's the Yisirim that you have. You thought, I must have now too much beis. It works the other way around too. Not only Yisirim, but Yisirim connects you. There's no other way a person can connect to Yudke, which is called Alma Diskasya, which is called to the hidden part, is through the Meitzah. So every Meitzah, as we said before, we started off. The Heishiv Leiv, you won't hear it. Heishiv Leiv, אתה הולך לשם, מה קרה? Heishiv Leiv, חשבתי שאני מדבר, אני מדבר משהו.
עכשיו אומר למה אתה יכול לחנך את אבא שלך.
Heishiv Leiv, oh, that
I said that's why I feel so good, because my חינוך was my father. אני מחזיר.
והילדים שלך יחזירו לך. אז לא תסכים לפירוש הזה. והישב לב אובס על בונם. Sagt Rashi, was heißt al bunim? Al yedei ha-bunim. So who has the lev shami we're talking about? Lev from the children or lev from the uvis? The heishiv lev uvis al bunim. Sagt Rashi, al yedei ha-bunim. That means they're the one that we have to change ourselves as long as I don't feel that every time that I come into a turmoil, as we started saying, and I'm not part of this turmoil, then that's where I get messed up and I don't connect. But when I know I'm part of it, which part of me is it? It's the part of my machshuvas, which once I sort them out and connect them to one that's giving the machshuvas, then it's actually balanced, and I get its visut, get the right, that's the balance, mozan, izum, the visut. I call everything is so excellent on that, but it takes time to build it up. But you start every time from a new, because the more you can, more Ein Sof is Ein Sof, but we're not going to go away from it. That's called Mishnechnes Udar Ma'am B'Simcha. The Simcha is Oisis Machshuva. The whole Simcha is, if once you control your Machshuva, that means that Machshuva is, so we say in the Torah, it says, Lech L'chu, Me'atzechu, Me'laletchu, Me'savichu, Aluatz, Ashereku. Where is it? So Hashem is no address. So I'm ready to go. So the Ktziv is not Aluatz Ashereku. The Ktziv is Lech L'chu, Telech Me'atzmacha. Kol Mashata, everything that you decided to today, that must be that way. This is based on Vichu, Me'laletchu. Because the system, as long as it's not lech lechu mi'atzmachu, we call it, to go away from yourself, then you're in the right direction. That means you're not going anywhere, you're just going, but you have no destination, but you're going away from yourself. That every step that you take away from yourself, it's getting you closer to Him. And get the closest one with Him, it'll never happen because it's Ein Sof, but you gave something off from yourself. I said last time we were speaking about Oilam Shuna Nefesh, the three things that get a person messed up. Oilam here, there. Shuna is time, and Nefesh is people. So I was on Chitzah, someone keeps drushes about the cell phones and all the disturbances. So set away. If you have in New York, there's drug-free zone. You know what that means? What does it mean?
They can inhabit those.
Huh?
They can inhabit those. You take that, you're not allowed to come.
Yeah, but in New York, drug-free zone means that anyone that's playing, handling drugs.
With drugs.
The drugs.
Can't go there.
In this section,
Yeah,
you know.
you know that's a special place for it. The real good stuff is in the freezer.
And anyways, so I might have to learn. I learned to
the $100 you pay there.
Anyways, the person, in order to start off with all his disturbances, he has to take a place which is a free zone, a time which is free zone, and people is free zone. So it's a house, and people make the couch, that's a free zone, no phones there, no nothing. So every time a child wants to speak to you, he'll sit down there and wait for you there. That means he has to have a certain time, Auf Steimer, vielleicht sagen, der erste halbe Schuh, soll man sich nehmen in the hand, first half hour, not to take it into your hand. That means everyone has to set up his free zone in time, places, and people. That's where you start. It's also a lech lechu. You started giving back. You have this drive, but you're giving it back the drive to who they gave it to you.
Changing your habit.
Then you're changing your habit, but you're changing the direction of the machshava that's saying you must. Once you give it back, so the first, the Rusha says the first time is hard, second time has koyach in the first time, the third time has koyach in the first 2 times. What's hard? Hard is not the connection. Hard is to decide that I cannot take care of myself. I must have help. That's the hardship. So once a person has that tam, so the hardship goes by, because that's human satsmai, then it turns over from gain to loss.
So basically, the reason I'm trying to think. Basically, the reason why, even though I stand and said one time, second time it's harder, it's not easier, is because I'm not doing it for the right reason. I'm not stopping in order to gain. I'm stopping because I'm pushing it off.
So the more, so at the end of the day, one day you get tired, or one day there's
pushing off.
You're so such a desire already. You just don't hear the.
You pushed it off enough. Now it blows up.
And you think that it's okay. יש תצפניות, והכל בסדר, והכל עובד, וקונספציות. You have to change the conception. Concept, I think it's the last. Any questions here from Chesky, Sucha? What?
Which Michta?
155.
From Rebusha, it's a Chavisa, not the Michta, it's called Sefer Chavisa, which is 155. What?
Which Chalik, or just
the second Chalik.
Yes, the one that they sent out.
Oh, this came from Any questions?
Recording stopped.
Then the upstairs, on the left side.
He asked
Left
you a
side.
good question. Like you said the first time you